Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I'm David,
And I'm Davis,
and this is Two Men in a Truck.
and we're a podcast.
And today we're not in the truck. We actually have the camera suction cup to the window of the truck, but we're shooting today in Valley of Fire in Utah?
Nevada?
Nevada?
We're in Utah?
I don't know.
We're somewhere.
We're near Utah.
Yo, we should call this the Uninformed Podcast. That'd actually be like a really fire name now that I think about it.
Maybe we are still in Nevada. Okay, I'm not sure. We're close. I think maybe we're spending the night in Utah tonight, but
Somewhere.
anyways.
Yeah. So we're on a pretty solid long vacation.
12 days, yep.
12 days, yeah, pretty solid.
Touring the little bit of the West Coast. Started out in Vegas. We had a pretty awesome day yesterday, touring
Lost so much money.
everything in the game Fallout New Vegas.
Yep.
So we started the day out in Good Springs, which was pretty cool. Made money, actually. That was profitable.
Save it for after the podcast.
After the podcast.
They don't need to know how we made money. They don't need to know that.
But yeah, so that was cool. Saw Good Springs. Got to go to the general store, the saloon from the game. We got to see the elementary school, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
yep.
And the cemetery.
And the cemetery, yep.
So it was really cool. Yeah, it was it was pretty accurate. It was impressively accurate for a video game.
Yeah.
And we talked to the lady. She used to work at the general store, like when they came to town, and she said that there was a little table in the corner of the store, and she like watched them as they were writing stuff down about everything, and it was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. We got to take the truck on a side-by-side road. That was fun.
Yep, that was fun.
Take it down a little dirt track.
Ugh.
And then from there we saw Prim, and we got to see the Vicky and Vance.
Hotel and casino.
Yeah.
We got to see the roller coaster. It is real. From
Yeah,
Fallout
that
New
was pretty
Vegas.
cool.
Yep, that was super cool. It's way bigger in real life.
Yeah, it was
It, like-
it was big, man. It like stretched all around the parking lot. It was sad to see that's not running because that was a pretty impressive setup. And then they had the flog loom. The log flume.
The flog loom. It sounds like it's straight out of Rick and Morty.
But yeah, the log flume was shut down, unfortunately, and that was dry. It was a little sad. Okay, I'm not a gambler, but man, it just seems like a really sad experience to gamble.
Unless it's blackjack. Blackjack is cool.
Yeah,
Everything else is kind of sad.
I don't know. These guys just seem a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
With it being so bright, do you want to rotate that way and I can move more this way or something so it's not blinding you? Would that be better?
It's okay. It's
You're fine? Okay. Sorry, you're like looking straight into the sun.
It's all good.
So differences between North Carolina, Florida, and here in Nevada area. I would say one, obviously there's the elevation difference. So there is, I researched it on the first day, there's 3.5% less oxygen. So we have a 21% oxygen rate at sea level, and here it's like 18, 17.9, something like that. So there's that. Also, it's freaking dry. I'm sure you can tell behind us, there is no clouds anywhere. Like we haven't seen a cloud in days.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's just nothing but bright sun all the time.
Weirdly, I'm sure it's because it's dry, but the air feels pure. I know it's less oxygen, but it just feels like cleaner. We are also in a national park. A little ASMR for you guys.
Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, it feels clean, but I will also say I think a huge part of that is the fact that everywhere we've been going is so empty.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
we everywhere we go, it's just there's nothing around. Like we haven't seen a car in hours.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, some horses have passed by, but besides that, like nothing.
I don't know the last time we saw a car. Ooh, in the podcast, can we show the Rams over there? Can you still see them back behind me? No? Okay. So we did just see a couple of Rams, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or Bighorners, as they're called in the game.
Yeah.
Which is how I think we should refer to everything from now on.
As Bighorners. Everything is a Bighorner now. Oh, Abraham Lincoln? He's a Bighorner. He's actually a big horny.
He's a Bighorner for the dudes, I heard.
Abraham Lincoln over there, dude.
I heard that was yeah.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of new stuff coming out about him with all this gay documentary stuff.
I mean, is anyone surprised? Like, we know who's sponsoring that documentary. That's 100% a Disney documentary that they're sponsoring. Abraham is gay. I heard he might not even be American. I heard he was from Mexico.
Wow.
I heard he was a POC.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Part of the LGBTQ community and the POC. That's impressive. They're gonna switch up, the Hall of Presidents at Disney. They're gonna switch them up, give them some gay hand movements in the ride.
He's wearing like hot pants that say "juicy" on the back.
They give his animatronic fingernail paint.
he lifts his top hat and there's just like a dildo.
uh,
Yeah, they're oh goodness gracious, they're gonna ruin poor old Gabraham for us.
dude, so sad, man.
Hmm.
But yeah, speaking of theme parks, have you seen anything about that Epic Universe park?
No, I haven't seen anything about it.
I've got a lot to say about it. If you want, we can talk about that. So what we're doing for this podcast is we're planning on doing like like a 20-minute increment here probably, and like a 20-minute increment somewhere else at another national park, and just like this will be a national park tour. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's gonna be neat. But if you want, we can talk about that now, or we can
Yeah,
talk about some other stuff.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, Universal is opening a new theme park in Orlando. It's called Epic Universe. It's separate from the other two. So you know how with the other two, you have like City Walk connecting them and you can go to both.
Mm-hmm.
This one is completely separate, just like how the Magic Kingdom parks aren't like walkable.
Oh, really? So it's not in the same parking deck or anything, huh?
No, not
That's
even
interesting.
close. Yeah, it's still on their property, but it's like the whole other side of the land that they own. It's wild, but it is massive. So, it's a really big looking park. So Epcot has 7 rides, Hollywood Studios has 9, Animal Kingdom has 9. I want you to guess how many this like brand new theme park that's about to open, how many rides it has.
All right, so I know Universal is always trying to outdo Disney, and Universal's always been more about rides than Disney too. So I'm gonna go with 13.
That is completely correct.
Is it really
It
13?
is
Oh,
13
that
rides.
was just a dumb guess.
No, that was really good.
Huh?
Yeah, they are opening with 13 rides, and like they're pretty solid rides. They're not all like crappy rides.
Yeah.
So since I've like watched some more stuff, we talked about it in the last podcast a little bit, but again, the uninformed podcast, no information at all.
Not trademarked or anything.
Yeah. Bill Burr does not have that one. But yeah, so I know a little bit more about it now. The main like area, like the opening to the park that connects everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's called Celestial Kingdom. So it's just like it's a little bit space themed, but it's like very futuristic.
That's cool.
They got a lot of shops in there, and they also have some rides. So they have a carousel which has like triple spinning. So the big carousel spins.
Mm-hmm.
They have 4 little carousels on the carousel that also spin in addition to that,
Okay.
and your ride spins. Your personal one also spins.
Dude, that's Disney teacups.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
the teacup ride.
That's what they're doing
They're
though.
they're copying Disney from the 80s. Come on, man. I thought they were gonna be bringing something hot and fresh.
They are. Let me get to
Okay.
it.
All right. What else they got?
The other ride that they have in that main like area that connects it all is a dueling coaster. So 2 separate rides on a coaster, which
Hmm.
is pretty cool.
They cross at
So
some point where like you can puke on each other
yeah,
and keep
exactly.
moving.
You got it. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so 2 coasters like together is pretty cool. They've done that before, but it's just still neat to see.
Do they like give
Um,
you a bunch of coins and you can toss them at each other, and then whichever ride has the most survivors at the end
What a
is the
Jewish
winner?
thing to say. That's crazy.
A Jewish wouldn't toss the coins; they would keep the
He's
coins.
keeping all
They
the
would be
coins.
catching the coins from the other coaster. Whoever collects the most coins.
That actually does sound like a pretty fun game. I'm not gonna lie. It's the big nose in me,
Now
man.
you got me thinking if what's the game where the guy's like got to catch them all? What is that?
Pokemon?
Pokemon. Think he's Jewish? Is that what's going on there? He's like, you catch these, you get like a high yield on those. There's a really good ROI. You catch everything.
Ugh.
Man, this got dark quick. Okay.
But yeah, so then they have 4 other lands. So we'll start on the right. So immediately to the right, we're gonna go counterclockwise to be just a little bit annoying. Immediately to the right, they have the Isle of Berk, and Berk is the land in How to Train Your Dragon. So it's a whole How to Train Your Dragon theme section. So they have 3 rides in there. They have have you ever seen the ones, I think it's at like the Great Mall of America, but you can like spin yourself?
Yeah.
So they have that. So they have that, and that's spinning. So they're gonna have one of those. They're also gonna have a water ride where it's kind of like Buzz Lightyear's thing, where you have to shoot out the fires that the dragons are setting. So you're like trained to become firefighters.
Cool.
But there's also multiple, so you can shoot each other when like other boats pass you, but it's mostly other targets. So that's gonna be a fun ride, I'm sure. And then they also have a coaster, which is more like a family-friendly coaster. But it's like, I don't think it's even gonna go upside down, but it goes to the whole land. So you're gonna be able to like go across the entire land with this coaster. So that's gonna be really neat.
Oh, that will be cool.
And also supposedly they've talked about it, but like they haven't shown it yet. they're going to have drones that mimic dragons. So drones that look like dragons are going to be like flying around, probably at night, you'd assume,
Yeah.
to like keep with the effect a little bit.
Hmm.
But that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Um, yeah. Any, any thoughts on that?
I think it's cool that they're going to add some new stuff to it. So I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of Universal. I feel like so many of their rides are literally just like you're basically riding in a bus and you're looking at screens. So I'm happy that it sounds like they're pulling away from that, and it's surprising because they've been doing that for a very long time, and it's not amazing. And now they're pulling away from it, and Disney has gone more towards like riding a ride where you stare at a screen more, and Universal is like, no, we're going to go more realistic, more futuristic instead of staring at a screen. So that's cool. Good for you. You know what? Maybe Universal is going to be the top dog soon.
I want to talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the next land going further deep into the park is a Harry Potter land. So you know the Fantastical Beasts series that's also in the Harry Potter. We haven't watched any of them, but
Yeah.
so there's the Harry Potter stuff, and then Fantastical Beasts is like in the past, so it's like before that.
Hmm.
So they're gonna have two like in the same like Harry Potter land, but it's two separate areas. So it's gonna be 1920s London, and then like a modern day whatever the regular Harry Potter is set in.
Okay.
Yeah, I know all the information clearly, but they're gonna have a ride in there, which is it's kind of like a screen ride. It's not all screens. They have a lot of animatronics, but it's a mix of both. So, but they showed some pieces like some movie animatronics, and they're really nice. But that's hopefully gonna be a good ride. And
Hmm.
then directly at the back of the park is a massive hotel. So they're the first theme park ever to have a hotel within the theme park. So it's at the back. So it's like, here's the entrance, here's all the stuff I've talked about it, and then back here is the hotel. And you can enter from the backside at the hotel and get early access. And like, you could go there and literally just walk into your hotel from the theme park
That's
once you're
pretty
done with the
cool.
day. So that's pretty
Yeah.
neat. And they're opening two other hotels. This is all opening at the same time as the theme park. Two other hotels really close to it.
Hmm.
So that'll be really neat to see. And then after that, going now we're on the left side, there is Super Nintendo World. So that's like Nintendo themed stuff. So the main area is a Mario World. And they already have it open in Japan and California, Universal Hollywood, and it looks really cool.
That's
It's
cool.
like it's themed super good. It literally looks like you're within a Mario game. Um, they've got cool themed food, and they've got uh, there's going to be three rides there. So two of the rides are in the Mario section. One of them is like a really slow, kind of like People Mover a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
like a Yoshi thing, but you like get to see cool animatronics. But it's a very kid friendly, like slow ride.
Does it make the noise that Yoshi makes? They're like, wee hoo. I can't do it.
Probably.
Whenever he like shoots his tongue out and grabs something.
Yeah, I haven't played Mario in so long, dude. I need to play soon.
Okay, so that's cool. They're finally doing some Mario stuff.
Yeah.
Real talk though, like the last Mario movie was decent, but how terrible are most Mario movies? Like they're just not good.
Dude, the last Mario movie did so much money. It
I
made
know.
so much. It was
Yeah, no,
insane.
I know it was decent. It was a lot better. I just feel like that world is all they ever do is they make Mario 1 over and
Yeah,
over and
definitely.
over again. Which I kind of feel like that's what happens with Batman. Like I know we're kind of getting off on a tangent here, but like that's Batman. It's just like it's a new Batman fighting a new Joker, and in 10
Uh,
years we get a new Batman fighting a new Joker.
Not really. I mean, Christopher Nolan, his movies, three of those, that was pretty solid.
Who did he fight?
Who did he fight? He fought Joker,
Oh,
Scarecrow,
that's what I said.
Ra's al Ghul, and Bane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the same. Like I mean, it used to be like you'd fight Joker, and then you'd fight Penguin, and then you'd fight the Riddler, and now it's like you fight,
Well, yeah, it's
Bane, and then the
movies.
Riddler. I know. I'm just saying. It's just like it's redos over and over and over again. I would love for it to kind of like expand out of those worlds a little bit.
It's so funny you say that because I remember like years ago, I was like, yeah, this Batman show is pretty boring. He just fights the Batman and Penguin every other episode. And you're like, that's how TV used to be. That's how
I
shows used
know.
to be. That
I
it's
know. I
good.
know.
It's
That's what
good.
I'm saying. It used to be that way. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying I would like for. I feel like Batman has been repeated so many times, and Mario has been repeated so many times. I would
Hmm.
just like for them to kind of like expand out from that, which I don't know how much more Mario can do. Like, it's
Yeah.
just gonna be like a real world. He's got a boring life as a plumber, and that's the whole movie. I don't know. There's not a whole lot really going on
Gets
there.
addicted to heroin. That'd be a fun Mario movie. Gets addicted to
It would be
mushrooms.
mushrooms for sure. It would be
Yeah.
heroin. He's
Uh,
doing a lot of mushrooms.
Princess Peach is a hooker.
Oh, so there's actually a clip I've seen it where someone did that. Like basically, they're all just high, and like that's why they stay high all the time.
It was Adult Swim.
Oh,
It was Robot Chicken, I think.
was it Robot Chicken?
Yeah, I'm pretty
That
sure.
checks out. Yeah,
It's a Robot Chicken's pretty funny.
yeah. They were pretty edgy back in the day.
Yeah.
I haven't. It's not still made, right? Like it was on
No,
forever
Adult
ago.
Swim is pretty much gone. I mean, like they
Uh,
still have like Rick and Morty, I think, but besides that, they really just do like reruns.
yeah, Robot Chicken really did lead the way. Like it walked so everybody else can crawl.
Yeah.
Minus Rick and Morty. I feel like Rick and Morty does a good job,
I
but
love that Dora skit. That one's so funny.
who? Which one?
It's Dora's quinceañera.
I don't think I remember it.
It was pretty funny.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so they have that ride. They're also going to have like a more like A-list ride. It's going to be it's a slow-ish moving dark ride, kind of like you rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway or
Mhm,
no?
mhm.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but it's like Mario Kart. So you do put on 3D glasses. There's some screens, but there's a lot of animatronics, and you're going through like you're playing Mario Kart, but it's slow.
Huh,
Then they're also going to have behind that another section, which is a Donkey Kong land.
that's cool.
Um, I've been real hiccupy. Um, Hiccup, Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Whoa,
he's gonna be there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's gonna have a coaster back there in the Donkey Kong land as well. So that's gonna be cool.
I feel like
Um,
they could do a lot of fun with that, like dodging barrels.
they're
That
doing so it's like you're on like a mine cart,
Mhm.
and what they've done is they have a track underneath and then a fake track on top, and they're gonna simulate it like you're jumping like over broken stuff
Huh.
or like going over water, and apparently it's gonna look really cool. Um, so that should be really neat. And then the final park like area land is Dark Universe. So that's like the classic Universal like horror movies. It's like the old Frankenstein, the old Dracula, the old Creature from the Black Lagoon, werewolf, like Wolfman, whatever.
Hmm.
This is gonna be a whole area based on that stuff. They've got 2 rides in there. One is Curse of the Werewolf, I think, and it's like a coaster, but it spins. So it's like a spinning coaster, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like a
Okay.
controlled spinning just like that.
So are they planning on making movies to fit this new part of the park?
They
Or are they just
might.
like general like, oh, Dracula and Wolverine and or wolves or what was it? I forgot what it's called.
Wolfman?
No, but what were you just saying? Not Wolverine.
Creature from the Black Lagoon?
No, werewolf.
Werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah. I said Wolverine, but
Uh,
I meant werewolf.
I mean, there's already a lot of stuff about those. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make more IPs with that. But I mean, like the Mummy is already a pretty big IP, and that's part of that. It's just like all of that like classic horror movie stuff because
Mm.
Universal owns like all the old horror movies, like all the
Uh,
classic ones like that, which were massive in like the 30s.
hmm.
Stan all that, started doing a big thing off that, and people love horror, so it's gonna do really good.
Yeah.
But the like main attraction, which I'm actually really excited about, is it's a like mansion, but the story is basically Frankenstein's great granddaughter, Dr. Frankenstein.
Mhm.
She's like created this thing where she like brought all the monsters together, and she's like trying to contain them and stop them from doing bad stuff.
Hmm.
But it goes wrong, and it's like a dark ride, but you like have to go through it all and like try to escape. But they showed animatronics from it, and they look amazing. Like the animatronics look super good.
That's
They
cool.
have a so I looked at a lot of the patents for this stuff. They basically have a walking Frankenstein one. So they have Frankenstein, and he actually does step off the ground, but it's a moving plate underneath him. So he's
Hmm.
moving with the plate, but like there's literally nothing connecting him to the ground.
Really?
Yeah, and they showed it off, and so they didn't like show the magic behind it, but I've looked at the patents for it, and
Mhm.
that's the technology that they patented. So like Disney can't use it, but it's super cool looking. I think it's gonna be. I think it's 14 animatronics that they said they have. It's like 14 monsters.
Okay, so they got 14 animatronics, but how many of them are ex-gay presidents?
Probably zero. The
Okay.
Hall of Presidents is still up.
Disney's
1 out of 50 is still pretty solid.
Disney's still pulling hard with certain communities. I don't know which communities
Ugh.
they are, but there's certain communities that I would say Disney is just going to forever outshine them in.
Abe Lincoln does give bear energy, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Well,
yeah. So
It's like it's a gay werewolf. He- he's only gay on like a full moon.
that reminds me of the Superman, the pink kryptonite. Have you heard about that stuff?
No.
They made a like some comic made a kryptonite for Superman, and it's pink kryptonite, and it makes him gay.
No.
So he's not into Lois anymore. He's into what's his friend's name?
Ah,
You know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
The reporter,
the
the
photographer,
photographer.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I can't remember right now.
but he's like super into him. So it was really like super weird that they did that. But people meme it so much now because it was such a stupid thing to do. Uh,
Between go
no, you go
ahead.
ahead.
That and a full moon like Dracula. It's like I want to suck your
Yeah. He's going for some liquid, but it ain't blood.
That's where the true life is.
uh,
Sounds good.
all right, so unfortunately it's getting a little bit dark here, but a pretty cool set piece in the background. This is about 20 minutes. That's probably what we're gonna get out of this one.
Part B tomorrow, I
Yeah,
think.
with Street Part B, it's gonna be in this same section. We're not gonna do 20-minute spurts and separate them. It's gonna be all together. You're gonna see all this together. But yeah, you'll
Sounds
be
good.
back in 2 seconds, and we'll be back in 12 hours.
All right, so today we are shooting in Nevada, possibly. Tomorrow we'll definitely be shooting from Utah.
That'll be cool.
All right.
All right, that sounds like a horse. That's what it sounds like.
Yep.
That sounds good. Thank you for listening to the podcast and continuing to listen to it. I'm Davis,
I'm David,
and we are 2 Men in a Truck.
and this is a podcast. Ready?
Welcome back to the podcast you were already listening to. I'm Davis,
I'm David,
and we're 2 Men in a Truck.
and we're not in a truck today,
We're not in a truck today either,
but
so
it is still a podcast.
it is still a podcast. Yesterday we were shooting over at Valley of Fire,
Valley of Fire, yep.
and today we are shooting at
Bryce Canyon.
Bryce Canyon. So you can see it behind us if you are viewing the video on YouTube. Very beautiful landscape.
We'll attach some photos maybe, or maybe
Yeah.
like a little clip at the end of the best ofs. But yeah, it's a really awesome spot. So yesterday we were still in Nevada. We crossed through Arizona a little bit. Today we're in Utah. About 3 hours, maybe I guess closer maybe to 5 hours from where we were shooting yesterday. Pretty cool location. Difference in color. The spot that we're in now is not exactly the best spot, but it's like the quiet spot we could find to actually shoot a little bit without tourists walking by every 10 minutes or so. So we figured it would be kind of nice. It's definitely cold here. So we're sitting right now at about 8,000 feet elevation. You can't see any around us, but there is some snow on the ground that's been in the shadows, and it's a little bit breezy here. But yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, it's very cool here. So I guess we can just get into what we were talking about last part of the podcast. So we were talking about the Epic Universe.
Yeah, like 2 minutes ago. Yeah, we were talking about the Epic
two
Universe.
minutes
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
I
The new
remember
theme
that.
park.
Yes.
Do you remember the rides and stuff?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely? Okay. So it's pretty big. We talked about how like 3 of the Disney World parks have 7 to 9 rides, which is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
And that's including all rides, like also like the crappy little carousels and stuff.
Yeah.
So this opening with 13 on opening day is pretty impressive.
So you said opening with 13. Are they planning on adding more to it?
Eventually, yeah.
Dude,
Not
that
immediately, but
freezes cold.
that is pretty chilly. Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, so they're planning on adding more.
That's
so
cool.
that should be cool. There's actually rumors that they're adding a whole new land to the park, a Lord of the
wow.
Rings themed land.
Oh, that'd be neat.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, they have a spot right beside, like in between the Harry Potter land and the How to Train Your Dragon land.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spot for Lord of the Rings, and that's what's rumored to go there. But that'd be pretty cool, like an
Yeah.
Isiron there or something.
Yeah, that would be neat. They need to hurry up and do that before all of the original Lord of the Rings fans are too old to go.
Yeah, definitely, because nobody's fans of the new show. So, Rings of Power.
It's okay. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
watched it. It's fine. It's not great. I think it's got the same thing that everything has. It's got just like a tinge of too much like DEI hiring in it, and it misses the marks from what it could be. It's a little bit too, I want to say PC. Like it's a little bit too mellowed out. And so they're missing some stuff, and it's not a bad show. I like it, but
Lord of the Rings for kids.
I mean, not even just for it's so. Hopefully, it's not too controversial, but it like instead of focusing on some of the main things that it should focus on, it focuses more on like their their relationships being their entire identity. And it just like that personally, if I was, facing the end of the world as I know it, I probably wouldn't be like making my relationship my entire identity.
Well, you had an issue with that with one of the Star Trek shows too.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, not the newest one that came out. So there's Star Trek Strange New Worlds, love it. They do a great job. Everybody's blended in together. Like there's people who are clearly, whatever sexual orientation, but they don't like open every scene by saying it. It's just like they just are, and like that's cool and it's fine, and they just blend in. And then in oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, and I can't Google it obviously.
Was it Discovery?
Discovery. Oh my gosh, yeah, Discovery killed me because they're constantly crying. Like literally, they're in the middle of a battle and they've got 30 seconds before their ship blows up, and they're like, we all need to take a moment here and just shed a tear for you know the relationships we could have had, like just stupid garbage
That's what
like
happens when
that.
your captain's a woman, dude.
No, that is not true, because Captain Janeway,
Janeway. Yep.
she didn't cry at all. That woman ran a tight ship. She ran one of the tightest ships, and I feel like that was one of the best Star Treks that there was. She did an awesome job with it. She's still, like, I would say probably, man, she's one of my favorite captains. Like, she's not my favorite captain, but as far as like actually being a great captain, I feel like she hit the mark like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
And Discovery was solid. I mean, there were some good parts to it. I just felt like they were trying to work that stuff in so much in times when it was like not the right time to do it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It also came out in a bit of a weird time too.
yeah, dude, everything like it's gonna be so crazy to look back at the 2020 to 2023 era in like 20 years. Like there's just going to be this, like they've deleted everything that was published and that came on TV during that time period because it's all trash.
Yeah, and you look back at older stuff, like stuff from the '90s, and it's like a lot of it's pretty messed up. Like there's a lot of stuff that it's like, okay, that was a little bit too far maybe. But what was it, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? There was like a super transphobic scene, so people were like mad about that. But yeah, it was watching that scene, like I watched it like a year ago because people were like, "This scene's crazy," and I was like, "Wow, that's kind of wild."
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean, it's all like, in my opinion, like in good humor and
yeah, which it was
light
just comedy,
fun.
but again, it was in the '90s, it was very different.
Yeah,
You
it's
couldn't make those jokes now, dude.
yeah, it was a weird time though. I remember we were watching what was it, the cop show The Rookie,
Ugh.
uh which I do like. The Rookie, I feel like they've done some pandering and some mediocrity, but for the most part I feel like it's a great show. I really like the lead guy. I can't remember his name, but he was in, was it Firefly, and I liked him a
Uh,
lot in that. He's a pretty cool guy, and I feel like the cast is done well, and for the most part they've done really good. But like during 2020, when everyone was like very anti all cops, because there's definitely like some bad cops, but I don't think all cops are bad. I think that's a very broad statement, and generalizations normally don't do well, like saying that Jews are very stingy and
or everybody named Abraham Lincoln is a homosexual. Like those things just don't really go over well.
yeah, it just doesn't go over well. But yeah, so I didn't like that like they went through 4 or 5 episodes where they were trying not to get canceled, and so all of the cops were talking about how bad cops are, and they're like crying over it, and they're like, I just wish we could be better. And like, come on, man, like I feel like a real cop would not be crying over it. If they actually cared, they would be doing something about it and getting those people kicked out of the force. So it's whatever. But it was a weird time where people were trying their best to survive and not get canceled. So
Yeah.
can't be mad at them. You cold over there?
No, I'm chilling.
That ASMR of hands rubbing together that are super dry. Like, man, I tell you what, fighting the dryness over here
Yeah.
is crazy. Like, it is nonstop drinking water and putting on lotion and putting on chapstick and still being dry. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Dude. Um, but yeah, so getting back on topic a little bit, um, the Epic Universe thing, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But basically, everything's come out about that, and it's opening May 22nd, so pretty soon.
Cool.
Um, but basically, after that, and after there's been so much hype for it, Disney has like they're saying they're gonna do so much new stuff to the parks, especially Walt Disney World, which is also near Universal. So I talked about the Dark Universe land at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Disney is planning on opening a Villains Land at Magic Kingdom, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
That Cars Land, they're doing the whole South America part to Animal Kingdom. So they're replacing a lot of stuff. Um, they're planning on opening a Monsters universe, so like Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that people are thinking that's gonna go in where Muppet Vision 3D is.
Ah,
Yeah,
hate to lose that. It's
yeah,
time, but I hate to lose it still.
yeah. It's tough. The other spot it could go is the animation courtyard. So you know how you enter into the park and you know where like the Great Movie Ride is?
Mm-hmm.
Directly to the right of that is the animation courtyards. They've got like the Star Wars launch bay there now, but it used to be like a bunch of meet and greets and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like that whole area, they're also thinking maybe they're going to replace that, but it's more likely that they'll replace the Muppet Vision area because that area has stores in it. So they're not, and it has a bunch of like cast areas. So since they shut down like half the land, that's where all the cast break rooms and stuff are. So it wouldn't really make sense for them to shut that down.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's time. I feel like a lot of that stuff has been very outdated for a really long time, and Disney has been making a killing. Like 2020, the first half of that was a little bit rough, but from that point on, they have been at almost full capacity in the parks 300, 340 days a year. So they've had a massive influx of, and their prices have gone up.
So they've
So
actually been dropping
what's been
capacity
dropping?
for both Disney and Universal. Not the actual capacity, but the people in there have dropped. I think they've lost uh, Disney lost a massive amount. I think they lost like 15 to 20% compared to 2019. And
Mm,
that was 2023.
right now, in 2023, the
Yeah.
parks were less crowded than in 2019.
Yep. By
Man,
15 to 20%. And Universal has seen a
so did you guys feel that the last couple times you've been there? Did it feel like it was emptier? Because I mean, we were in Disney in 2019. Did it feel like it was?
I can't remember that.
Yeah, but
Um
like it wasn't like it was obnoxiously crowded. It was busy, but it wasn't like absurd.
yeah. Yeah, I mean this isn't like absurd either. And we pretty much only go when it's like race time. So it's going to be
Yeah,
busier. Like that's the only of course it's going to be busy when we go then. But no, yeah, it definitely is like it
dude,
feels less
how
busy.
how snobby are y'all that you have annual passes and you only go when it's like time for your races? That's a little bit bougie.
Not
I
even my
mean,
races.
yeah, that's he's a bougie boy. That's
Yeah.
let's be real, guys. He's a
You ain't nothing but a bougie boy,
like
boy, boy,
that's pretty
boy.
crazy. Because I mean, you guys have been running annual passes to Disney for what, like the last 3 4 years,
Something like that, yeah.
and we had a few years off in between. But I don't think we had one in 2019. I think we maybe had it in 2018, the annual pass. And then I know we had some.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think we went to Star Wars Land until after COVID, and that opened in 2019. But we went to Pandora Land.
Okay,
So that was like 2017 that
we
opened.
did go in 2019 though because that was part of what led to us ultimately looking for an escape room that we could expand into in Florida in 2020. So we did, or we went in like January of
2020.
2020.
That's what it
So that
was.
might have been when we went, like right before COVID kicked off.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hmm, that was crazy. I remember we were in like third grade or something. I was in third grade or something, and we saw one of my classmates at Disney,
Yeah.
which was super weird.
Dude,
We
there was
lived in North Carolina and we saw one of my classmates at Disney World, and that was like such a strange thing, man.
there was a period where like when we had an annual pass and we were going because that one year we went like 60 days
Yeah.
in one year, but we saw people every single trip. Like it was getting awkward how we couldn't walk through the park without seeing people we know. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was wild, dude. Um, but yeah, so they're opening a bunch of new stuff, and people think that Disney's scared because they haven't really opened anything new. And so, um, they've lost. So Disney and Universal has lost the same amount of people, but Universal already had less people. So technically, they haven't lost as much as Disney.
Yeah.
So they've lost a lower percentage. And that's with a new land coming out, like a whole new park, which is going to make people wait. So Universal is like kind of on the up and up.
I can see
And
that. I mean, I will say that. So I feel like Universal is more fun if you are teenagers and older, or if you're like young adults. Like Disney's cool, but like you said, I think they have missed the mark on replacing stuff. And so much of the stuff that is there was there when I was a kid in the like very late 80s, early 90s. It's the same stuff I remember riding when I was like 6, 7, 8 with my grandmother.
and most of it isn't even updated. If it was updated, it'd be different, but it's the exact same
And it's
trashy ride.
it's the same ride. Yeah, like they have, I think, been riding that glorious
Nostalgia.
free ride for so long. And there's nothing wrong with updating it. Like you don't have to get rid of those characters. The Muppets maybe because I don't even are they even on TV anymore?
Probably not. No.
Like so they're probably dropping the ball there, but like Figment's kind of a classic and I got that like people didn't want them to get rid of that. But you could totally update that ride and change a lot of stuff and make it so much more fun and fit the Imagineering world. Because it's still running like the scientists on it are from I don't even know if those guys are alive anymore, man. That was recorded like 35 years ago.
Well, what's his name that killed himself? He's not alive anymore.
Who?
I don't know. The guy that um what's his name? Robin?
Oh, Robin Williams?
Robin Williams. Yeah,
Was he one of the scientists on it? Oh,
yeah,
that's
he's
sad.
in the queue. But yeah,
Mm,
so he killed himself. I don't know if the other ones are alive or not. Yeah.
man, pour one out for my homie Robin, because
Do the Key and Peele pour?
he was the man.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so they're doing a lot of like they're saying that they're gonna do a lot of new stuff, but they don't even like know. They haven't they literally said we don't even know where we're gonna put the monsters land. We're about to begin construction on it, but we don't even know where it's gonna go.
They're like,
So
but the monsters will 100% be part of the LGBT community. Like 100%, all of them. Like don't drop this open in front of the monsters. I can tell you that for a fact.
you know how they're in two separate worlds? Like there's the monster world and the human world, and they're separate. Abraham Lincoln's like, we've got to bring them together. Those monsters probably have massive penises. Okay? I know Sully is an amazing bear for me. Uh,
what if in like Disney's Monster World, they're like, it's gross if like the boy monster likes a girl monster. Like, oh, what do you mean? That's disgusting. Nobody does that.
heterophobic.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but yeah, so they're doing a lot of new stuff. People are like it seems like they're pretty scared of Universal's new Epic Universe
I
because
mean,
it's
they should be.
yeah, I mean it's a brand new park. It's brand new and it has more rides than Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom, not combined but separate. And the newest of those ones is 25 years old.
That's crazy.
Or no,
So,
it's like 35 years old now because it
so
came out in the
as far as the
90s.
park itself goes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, they haven't updated like a whole park in a long time, which I get. They're at 4. That is a lot of parks. They do have a lot of land, and that's a lot of people. It's a lot of maintenance. But I will say the thing that they've dropped the most is even the new rides that they've added, like Star Wars Land, which looks really cool, has what, 2 rides in it?
Has 2 rides, but I mean that's pretty standard. Like Harry Potter Land in the new Epic Universe is only gonna have 1 ride. So having 2 rides isn't that crazy, I feel like, because I mean, both of those rides are like 180 minutes wait combined.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's
So
it's such a long wait that it takes away, like it would take your entire day to ride both of those 2 rides if you don't have a fast pass or, a queer queue or whatever they're passing on these days. I'm not
I mean, you're right. Like it is super long queues, but the land itself is really cool. Like, and the rides, the Millennium Falcon ride sucks. That ride is so boring, dude. It's literally
Is that
Star
the one where you get
Tours.
to like walk through the troopers? Oh no, that's the one where you get on and you all do the yeah,
You press
it's
buttons, yeah,
it's
at a
just
screen.
yeah, it's mediocre.
It's not fun. The Rise of the Resistance one is pretty solid.
That's where you're on the carts that like all move around and take different paths. Yeah. Yeah, that was solid. It's they need to get it so it works consistently, and they need to find a way to get more people through faster because that line is too long.
It's a long line. There's like 3 different video things, which is like it's cool that it's so immersive, but it really like the queue because okay, remember so you do um the one where there's a hologram of Ray or whoever,
Hmm.
and then you go onto the ship.
Yeah, you take a transport over, right?
Uh-huh. And then after that, you um have to like stand in the stormtrooper area, and then you have to stand in that little tiny section where they cut
Hmm.
the thing out and you leave. So it's like 4 different waiting spots where like if they didn't have to do all the theatrics, like it's cool the first time, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the more you do it, the more annoying it gets. It's like having to play. It's like unskippable cutscenes in the game. You
So
know?
I will say, for me personally, I don't actually mind those, even though I've seen them once or twice, because the line for the ride is still there. Like there's still enough people queued up that it's not like you could have got to the ride faster. So the ride itself is still full, and they're just kind of entertaining you along the way.
That's true.
But I do feel like if they could just somehow make the ride flow like quicker and get more people through, or add more rides so that it's not a 3-hour wait, which it probably won't be a 3-hour wait now, I guess is what you're saying. Did you guys ride that anytime in the last few visits?
No, nonetheless, we haven't gone to Hollywood Studios in so long, dude.
Really?
Yeah, we pretty much just go to Epcot because she likes Epcot. Um, but yeah, so
I think that's when you know you're old, is when you only like Epcot.
yeah,
It
you're like, ooh, what if we go get French food, and then I can get Mexican food, and then I can get sushi.
I remember when we were like little kids, like I was probably like, I don't know, 8 or 10 or something, and we would go and visit my grandmother who lived in Orlando. and she would talk about taking us to the parks, and it was always Epcot. I'm like, oh man, it's just like it's not a fun park.
No, it's not. And it's fun that it has Guardians of the Galaxy now, but it's just one fun ride,
It's
pretty
better,
much.
yeah. I think
And
that.
Test Track is closed, so that's boring too.
Oh, is it?
Like
Why is it closed? Are they
they're
updating?
updating it,
Oh,
yeah.
huh.
They're giving them Test Track 3.0. So that's a
Oh,
new ride too.
that's
But
cool.
yeah. So so they're making a lot of updates. Um, what do you think about the themes for Epic Universe? What do you think about the How to Train Your Dragon theme?
I think that's really cool. I think everyone enjoyed How to Train Your Dragon. It was really well cast, really well scripted. They did an awesome job. I think that's going to be. I mean, I would definitely 100% hit that. Like, yeah, I'll go to that park probably for How to Train Your Dragon because I like that. The Dark Universe is solely about the villains in their shows. You said,
So it's like Frankenstein and Dracula and Wolfman. So like all those classic like 1930s
yeah.
movies that Universal owns. It's about all those pretty much. So a lot actually this is what I want to talk about too. A lot of people are really excited for it because they like horror stuff.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, it's going to do really good." But other people are saying that it's going to not be popular like at all because people only like horror stuff around Halloween time.
Mm,
I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think that's the case. I think for people going on vacation to Universal, they're going to catch everything. I mean, it might not be like the place that the locals want to go to all the time, and it's probably not going to have the same fan following that Harry Potter is going to have. But I think it's still going to stay relatively busy, and there's not going to be too much of an issue with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And they're putting a really cool dark ride in there, which has a bunch of animatronics, and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like the scariest theme park ride they've ever made. So
Plus,
that's gonna do good.
my guess is that's opening a door to more of those movies. Like
Hmm.
they're going to open that park, and then that's going to like lead to more of those movies coming out, and they're building that brand deeper and deeper, which is exactly what Disney used to do. Like that's how Disney operated in the past is they had rides opening and movies premiering and all that stuff was kind of tied together, and then they just kind of sat and like just sat back, and I mean they were definitely the king, and they've kind of let
They're
you
about to
know
lose their crown. I think Universal might take it soon.
and if they do, it's because Disney let them.
Yeah.
Like they had the money. They've been focusing so hard on their profit shares, and just I don't know. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's just wild like how I think it's gonna be really good. Um, but
I
yeah.
I do think going back to it, like one thing they shouldn't replace, maybe just update a little bit, is the carousel of presidents with Abraham Lincoln in there.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna pull the people in.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
It's gonna the people want to see Abraham.
yeah, they love Gabraham. His beard used to be really dirty, now it's like very clean. He's shaved up really nice.
What
His suit is perfectly tailored.
if what if they change his voice to be like Mr. Slaves from South Park? It's like Jesus, fourth score.
Ugh.
I think that's what they should do. I think that would go over really well.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're bringing in a new audience because Carousel or Hall of Presidents is not very popular. So you gotta find
they're
your audience. You know.
they're about to become way more popular with a strong percentage of the
Strong
youth.
percentage of the Disney goers.
Yeah, for sure the Disney goers, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is a bit of a random thing. Man, obviously, we just had the election, and Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix just dropped. So for a little bit of nostalgia for me, and you played a decent bit with me during Chapter 2 as well, I wanted to go over. Um, dude, I've been burping so much today. I have no idea why. Is the elevation?
It's probably indigestion. That's usually what that comes from.
No, it's
It's
the
your
elevation.
body is producing gases, not digesting the food properly.
Mhm. Well, what I want to do is I wanted to go over some of the Chapter 2 towns of Fortnite, and I wanted to see if you think they would be a red state, a blue state, or a swing state.
Okay.
Okay, so the first town we have is Pleasant Park. It's the suburbs. It's nice homes, but not like too nice. It's like two-story homes. They're kind of far apart. In the center, they've got a nice plaza with a picnic table, and they have a soccer field. So I want you to go ahead and look at that. Look around. I want to see, do you think that's going to be a Republican, Democrat state, or a swing state?
Um. Hmm. I don't see any cars on donks, and I don't see any lifted trucks. So we're taking the two main giveaways for those demographics out of the picture. I'm I'm gonna go with swing state on that. It's too middle of the road.
I think you're right. There is a cop car in there.
Is there a cop
There
car?
is a cop car,
Okay, but
but there's a soccer field,
there's soccer. Okay,
so it balances out.
is the cop in the car in the picture?
He's not. He's patrolling.
Okay.
Just constantly. He's got a little circle he does. All right. The next one is Misty Meadows. This is a older town on a lake.
Is it Misty with an I at the end or with a Y at the end?
Why?
Okay.
It's a big fishing town. They've got a big clock tower, and yeah, it's on the edge of a lake. So go ahead and check that out.
Oh, dude, okay. So honestly, I'm going libertarian on that.
Libertarian. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
I don't know. It just with the clock tower
Huh.
and the fishing. That's somebody who says stay out of my business.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. Some anarchy going on there.
Mhm.
I think you're right. Okay. All right. Next one is, what is this one called? Totally forgot.
If you can give me like one with a trailer park, I know where that's going.
They did have a trailer park at some point in the game actually, but no, it's mostly pretty nice stuff.
Instead of like unlocking a chest by hitting it, you just swipe through the trailer, but you still don't get any building material. It's just trash.
You fall through the floor. But yeah, this is Salty Springs. This is another suburban town. It's a lot smaller. The houses are a good bit nicer. It's also got a gas station right outside of it. So tell me, zoom around a little bit. What do you think about that one?
That's Republican.
Republican?
Yeah.
Why?
Salty. You know everybody there has Salty Life stickers on the back of their Jeep Cherokees that have probably been to the beach once a year,
Once a year,
maybe
yep.
twice a year.
Exactly.
4th of July weekend. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a little Republican town in there.
Okay.
Got red sidewalks.
All right. I already know what you're gonna say with this one. This is Lazy Lake. This is
Who knows?
This is a big city. It has a really big insurance company, and that's the main provider for the town. Very nice homes, big pools. It's on the edge of a lake that overlooks a waterfall. So you can scroll across that.
Yeah, these are the people who used to work at Twitter before Elon took over. I know 100% what this city is.
They went straight from Twitter to insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, we both know what that is.
Yeah.
We both know what that is.
All right. I think this might be okay. I got two more. This is Frenzy Farm.
Ooh, I
Look
mean the
at it.
name itself.
So it's a farm. I mean, it straight up looks like a plantation. So
Yeah,
I think we kind of know what's going on with that one.
They've been voting the same for 250 years.
Yeah. I think that 3/5 of their crop are looking pretty good this year.
I think yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big house, big barn, everything, man. Yeah. Apple orchard, dude.
Yeah.
We know what they are.
They're not just they're pasty white Republicans.
Oh yeah, they're Nazi Republicans for sure. They're not just like chill.
Hopefully not that far.
I don't know.
Those don't exist.
Yeah, that's no way there's real. Okay, final one. Retail Row, decent houses, pretty nice, 2-story again.
Okay, can you zoom in on the first floor of Retail Row? Are the windows glass or are they plywood?
They're glass.
It's Republican.
Okay. It's got. Oh, that's enough for that one. Guess we figured it out. But yeah, it's got basically a little mini mall inside of it. It's got a little shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of grocery stores in there.
Yeah, none of them are on
stores,
fire.
However, the grocery stores are looted. There's very little. There's very little groceries inside the grocery store.
Then I'm gonna still go with a Republican, but it's close to a Democratic city.
Republican in 2020. That's what the city is.
What was the group that was like traveling around from city to city and like destroying and looting it? And
Antifa?
it was like Antifa, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
those guys they just visited. What was the name of that town?
What are you talking about?
The name of the little place right there.
Retail Row.
Retail Row.
They just visited Retail Row.
Yeah.
It's gonna go really bad. We're gonna do a little bit of like improv sort of thing, I guess.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so basically, my name is Jeremy Renner, and your name is Jeff, and we're both at a bar, and you just scan the QR code to see what their drinks are, and it's a very niche hippie bar. So just, you mind reading them out to me? I forgot my glasses today.
Okay, so Jeremy Renner, is he the guy who plays Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're Hawkeye. And I'm just Jeff.
You're just Jeff,
I'm
yeah.
just. Am I like
Maybe I'm Daniel Renner. I'm his brother.
am I like the Gambit? I forgot his name.
No,
Channing Tatum.
no, we're just.
When he does my name
I shouldn't
Jeff.
have said Jeremy Renner. We're just regular people.
My name Jeff. That was not as good as it could be. I'll work on it.
How'd you make him Mexican?
No, when he says my name Jeffy, that's how he says it. Have you seen that skit
My
with
name's
Channing?
Jeff.
Yeah. My name's Jeff. I'm trying. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm really annoyed because this menu doesn't have prices.
Oh.
So who knows what this is going to cost? The first one is called the Sneak. It's a Coke and rum with 3 shots of vodka watered down so much it's frozen.
Okay. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't have a price. That could be anywhere. Plus, I think in a couple of states that's not even legal to serve.
Huh. Really?
Well, it's 3 shots of vodka and rum.
Hmm.
So there's. This is a drink created by your great grandfather in World War II. It's called the War Crime.
Okay.
It's a yellow margarita with raspberry flavoring and a hint of mustard gassing people with Williams syndrome.
That's kind of specific. I don't know about that one.
It's kind of Pacific, which coincidentally is where your great grandfather did commit his war crimes. I'm kidding. He didn't commit war crimes. He did fight in World War II.
Our one viewer is gonna be like, "Hey, you can't say that."
Well, he's my grandfather,
Okay.
but he did not commit war crimes. He fought in World War II, but most of what he did was operated heavy equipment. Okay, so instead of salt on the rim, it's sand taken from Normandy Beach.
Huh.
And it comes with a take-home cup, so you get to take the cup home afterwards.
So it's like foreign imported. That's
Yeah,
kind of cool, actually. I
yeah.
actually kind of like that one. I think that's better than the watered down vodka.
I think I would probably drink that one, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
There's the PNC. Again, no pricing.
Oh.
It's an IPA made from Israeli yeast. And the cool part about Israeli yeast is it keeps covered the entire time.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, it never
gets a yeast infection.
It never shows itself in public. So, and according to some of the newer laws that they're implementing over there, I don't think it can talk in public either.
Yeah.
It's mixed in with the Hallmark brand wine to capture the feeling of getting rejected by your morbidly obese coworker with a Boston accent. Dude, that would be.
That one feels a little bit too. That one feels like a very personal thing.
That's depressing. Can you imagine? Okay, first of all, can you imagine those two things? Like your morbidly obese coworker turning you down, and or someone with a Boston accent turning you down. Like
both of those things are terrible.
Those are both ones. Unless we're talking about the Richter scale, that might be a 5 on the Richter scale. But both of those are ones. Like Boston accent is by far the worst accent that's ever been created.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna even New Jersey.
Yeah.
Newark, nothing in there is as bad as Boston. It's absolutely terrible.
That's fair. Rich Indian accent though. Rich Indians, poor Indian, not poor Indians. Rich Indians, that accent's pretty tough too. It's like British, but also Indian. It's like you just combine two things.
What's the dividing line? Like how much curry spice they have?
It's have you seen like the videos in India of like them eating, like what they eat at the markets?
No.
It's like the amount of dirtiness your food is, the better your accent is in India.
Gross.
They're disgusting.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos where the guy is like stirring soup with his foot.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's zero chance I would eat that stuff. That's why I can't hardly eat at any food trucks or anything like that, man, because I just don't trust them.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Like anything where they're literally just taking the trash and throwing it 5 feet out the door and letting it sit there for a day or 2 days, no, I'm not eating there.
And I've got to get to a funeral pretty soon, so like, are there any more drinks?
Well, should you drink before the funeral? Like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, I mean,
I don't want you like creating a
I don't really
scene.
want it to be like boring or nothing. So
okay, so there's one. I think your friend had it. It's the kill me now. Oh my God, it's over. Someone kill me now. It's over. They found the dolphin and the fin I stashed in his flipper. Why would you stash his flipper? Like, there's no holes in the flipper to stash fentanyl.
Abraham Lincoln could find a hole in the flipper. I bet you.
He'd probably find a hole, but it ain't gonna be the flipper. He's like, it's very aptly named the blowhole.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I don't. Okay, so
is there any alcohol? Is that one a virgin drink? Or
it doesn't say. I mean, I think it has fentanyl in it.
Oh.
So yeah, there's no alcohol, but it does have fentanyl. So
interesting.
Yeah, I'm going with the war crime on that one.
Is that all of them?
It's all of them.
It's all of them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it runs in our family, but the war crime's the way to go.
I think I'll go with the war crime too, honestly. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it only skipped one generation before it pulled all the way back.
The horseshoe theory.
Uh,
Ugh.
yeah, no, it is kind of funny that our family lineage comes from Germany, but then they were 100% fighting the Germans in World War II.
I feel
They,
like we were probably just fighting the Japanese, honestly.
well, you're
I'm
actually
gonna
you're
be real
not
with you.
you're you're not wrong. That is where he was
Yeah.
stationed.
I can tell. I saw some photos of him. That guy was not a fan of them. You got to worry when somebody's in the military and they're like, all right, we're actively in war. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to this African country or fight in this European country? The African country. Let me fight there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know about that, dude. You seem a little bit too excited.
So on my side, my grandfather fought in the World War II. On Felicia's side, her grandfather fought in the Korean War.
Uh-huh.
So, and then all of my uncles fought in Vietnam. Not all of them, but several of them. So I am seeing a pattern kind of taking place. The Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Our family does not like that area.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hmm. Or maybe it's just America doesn't like that. I don't know what happened. Maybe America doesn't like that area because a lot happening there.
Too much communism.
Yeah, I don't exactly think our old relatives were the ones picking the battles.
Yeah. You don't have any streaming services. Come on. We're gonna kill you now because you don't have any streaming services yet.
But I will say, um, our family was not, at least in the German lineage, our family was not involved in the Civil War here. We came in,
Way after that.
I think it was not way after, but it wasn't long after. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, we
They
came 2 years later and we were like, "Where's all the slaves?
they
I
were
was promised."
they were like a lot happened while they were on a boat. They didn't
They come over and they're so
Instant-
disappointed.
telegraph, like they barely got on the boat. The telegraph came in. They're like,
Uh,
war over.
they brought slaves over and they're like, I don't think you're supposed to be here.
Yeah, so on that side, and then on the other half of my family, it's Native American. So I'm pretty sure they weren't involved in it at all. They were probably
Yeah.
like too busy opening a casino somewhere
Yeah.
and drinking themselves.
Too busy killing all the horses.
Yeah, so they weren't involved in it. So we do have a clear pass on that one. We're
Yep.
fine on that one.
We're anti-slavery and our whole family was anti or neutral to slavery.
All right, that's worth high fiving over.
Oh yeah. Thank you for listening to the podcast. That was the end of this one. Again, very beautiful background. You saw 2 beautiful scenic backgrounds in this one. Probably gonna see some more in the next one. Recording that probably over the next couple of days.
Mhm.
Thank you for listening. I'm Davis,
I'm David.
and we're 2 Men in a Truck,
Stay warm.
and this is a podcast.